Hello and welcome everyone to something a little bit different and something a little bit new. So the game itself isn't new. If you've been around my channel before, you will have seen me on iRacing. This is iRacing, but something I've never ever dabbled in since I got this game. I've been racing in iRacing now for a couple of years. I have never tried my luck at a bit of Rallycross, and I thought, hey, let's try something new. So I unbolted the F1 steering wheel, I put the old round Thrustmaster T300 standard wheel back on, and set myself up on a bit of a handbrake, and away we go. So this is actually qualifying that you're watching now for my very first race that I did. Obviously I did a little bit of practice, not a huge amount, and somewhat surprisingly, certainly to me, I actually managed to slot it on pole. So obviously everybody in this category is a rookie, or at least most people do seem to be rookies. So yeah, obviously there's a spread of talent. I had no idea how I was going to go. I don't have a lot of experience doing rallycross or off-road, but this is the first race I took part of, launching out of pole position. Let's go! So I actually get away with a relatively good start. Now I had no clutch set up for this race, so I'm actually just revving it in neutral, dumping it into first gear. It seemed to be relatively effective. Second and third place were hounding me down to turn one, but I've managed to get through there pretty cleanly and actually pulled a bit of a gap. I know all the cars look white. Something was wrong with my trading paints when I recorded this, but anyway, I just want to make sure I get through the first lap. Now coming up here is the surface change from gravel to bitumen, and I have to say that's probably a part that I do struggle with a little bit. I don't mind going the other way when you're on bitumen and you go onto gravel. I don't mind it so much. You expect that lack of grip and it's controllable, but when you come in sideways off gravel and you jump onto the bitumen, it really does sort of snap the car around. You can even go up. I even rolled it at that very corner while I was practicing. I only did about half an hour practice, but you can see I just sort of pulled away. I was maintaining about a second gap, and then we came up to my first back marker, which he didn't do what I thought he was going to do. He went out wide, and I've just made a bit of contact. Now I have managed to retain the lead, but only just. You can see in my rear view mirror there the guy, and he's actually made contact with me and sort of shoved me into that corner. I don't think that was intentional, as we do finally negotiate the back marker. But what it did, having maintained that second gap for a good few laps, it let him catch up. So we're now into the thick of it. You can see a bit of an accident there. I wanted to try and get past this driver a little bit cleaner, so I didn't want to get caught on the left. I thought I'll go on the right-hand side of him this time, but he kind of hung out wide and I didn't know what he was doing, and then he slowed down way too much. You can see I just went on here, ended up rolling it, but I went on to make contact. So watch here, I go to the right-hand side to shove it up the inside, but he slowed down so much, as is evidenced by the fact that the guy behind me caught both of us, and unfortunately a bit of contact was made. That ended up flipping him over. But critically for me, what it meant is that having held the lead for most of the race, I lost it. So we're going to jump forward now to the final lap. And you can see I just never really gained that time back. It just sort of set me off. I don't think the car was damaged. I didn't have the pace to reel him back in. So unfortunately, it was absolutely stolen from me. But it's time to go again with race 2. So I have managed to put it in pole position once again, and this time it was quite convincing, so I wasn't sure how this race was going to go. Obviously in race 1, I had someone that was able to be fairly competitive, but you can see even off the line I've absolutely blasted away from everyone, just doing the neutral to first gear dump, and away I went. And honestly, that's pretty much the tale of this race. I just went on to... I was lapping much faster than everyone else, so I've just skipped over this race. And look, I do take the win. You can see second position's only 11 seconds in front of me on the road. It was a fairly convincing win. And it's great to get one, for sure. It's only my second Rallycross race, full stop. Not really the way I wanted to do it, but you never know. It's a rookie field. You get matched with whoever you get matched with. So I go back for race 3. Now this time, I don't get quite the same walk in the park. I'm up against some really fast competitive guys. I only managed third position. And as we dump once again off the line, I'm on the left-hand side of the track this time, being in third, so it was a slightly different experience. I had to stay wide around the outside. I had the guy who started in second on the inside. We've actually managed to come out in first and second overall, so not too bad. Now, this is where I do make a little bit of a mistake. As we go over the jump, I was way too close to him. I feel really terrible for that. I am sorry if that guy happens to watch this video. Doubtful, but if he does, I do apologise. That's inexperience on my behalf, only my second race. Now, you can see this guy's actually managed to have a much better run on me. Shoved it down the inside. We just managed to get through there side by side without cleaning up the wall. But yeah, that was inexperience on my behalf, because realistically I should have not been directly behind him as we went over the jump. I've held the throttle pinned. He's actually backed off slightly, maybe even braked a little bit, probably to try and get the wheels back on the ground a little bit sooner so he can get the power down and keep driving. So yeah, 100% my bad. I feel terrible for it, and it kind of took him out to a degree. And yeah, it ultimately, I held the lead for about a corner, but then this fella in front of us did stick it on past. So the race was kind of on. I wanted to charge on as best I could, but the reality was these guys were slightly faster than me, hence they out-qualified me. So if I ever really wanted to have a decent hope of winning, I had to stay in front. I didn't manage to do that, so I've jumped forward in the race. I'm still just about keeping up with the bloke in first. Now, he has been held up with a back marker. Obviously, I'm fairly wary at this point. But the important thing to note is I do have a bit of a gap over third. It's about 1.5 seconds, and I've been maintaining that throughout the last couple of laps. And I really just wanted to stay there. So I'm sort of watching how the bloke in first, who I'm presuming at this point has a bit more experience than I, how he negotiated the back marker, and there was a bit of patience involved, and perhaps that's where I cocked up in the first races. I wasn't patient enough, and he just goes, nearly disappeared off the left-hand side of the screen. He had a terrible run through there. I kind of got held up behind him, but he lost it out of there, so I thought I've got it. But no, he decided to stay on the inside, even though I'm lapping him, and chucked it on the brakes a little bit later on, pushed me out wide. So he's kind of swerving all over the place. I really didn't know what was going on. More contact with him as I go into the back of him. Spray out wide. Somehow I've managed to keep all that together, sliding down the grass. I'm guessing because it's Rallycross. So we'll have a bit of a look from the chase camera here. You can see he came in very awkwardly and nearly rolled it over. I went down the outside thinking he'd just back out of it and give me the position. He didn't. Now, he may have outbraked himself there. He might have been defending, not realising. And the swerving here, you can sort of, I don't know if he was deliberately swerving or if that was just his line. Once he did bump me off onto the grass, though, he actually did roll out of it and let myself and the guy behind me through. So I don't think it was intentional, and again, that's what you're going to get. I'm racing in a rookie class race with a rookie license myself, and for all we know, that guy might have been doing his very first race in iRacing or on any sim ever. So I'm not going to be too critical of the guy. It was a little bit all over the place. It was obviously frustrating during the race, but yeah, it is what it is, and he's probably going to go away and learn from that as well. Now, what you can see is the guy in first has been able to really punch away from me during all of that, and unfortunately the guy in third place has caught me. Now, he's not close enough to just shove it up the inside, but he's, overall he's fairly close. Now, this is the last lap of the race. I didn't realise that he hadn't actually served his Joker lap, and I made another mistake. So I'm keeping an eye on him down through here. I'm thinking, yeah, my line's not too bad. I ran a little bit wide there, but overall not too bad. Skip close to the walls and punch it. Now, I'm thinking because we start here, that's where we finish as well, and you can see the checkered flag comes up the top left hand corner. So I kind of roll into this corner, not really thinking too much about it, not pushing too hard. He scooches through on his Joker lap, and then I cross the line to finish third, frustratingly. So I actually had second stitched up, and I just don't think I handled that first turn, well, what I call the first turn, but what is actually the final turn of the race. I don't think I handled that very well, but that is going to be the end. Hopefully you do enjoy this. It's really great for me. I'm thoroughly enjoying trying something new. Hopefully you do as well. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, which will be posted quite soon on my channel. Another RX episode coming up, so thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.